box, and then VP answered back, coming up with some nice confident aggression. We're going straight through the draft in the same manner we did last time, Send. Quick and dirty.
Yeah, it looks like VP just have completely figured out what they want to do against Team Liquid now. They changed their bans up a lot from Game 1 to Game 2.
In Game 2, Bounty was banned in the first phase. In Game 1, he wasn't.
Okay, so this is the same bans from VP in that case, if it was Bounty.
Yeah, but again, we're sitting in that position where you could be looking at Enchantress, you could be looking at Nature's Prophet, you could be looking at a lot of things apart from the Earth Spirit. Like, there's kind of be like the major consistent ban here by these guys. The other one, which was banned out in the early phase, was Chen, I believe, in Game 1, was it?
In Game 1, VP played it.
Yeah.
It might have been banned in Game 2. Whoa.
Wow, okay. Game, which is the Nature's Prophet, you bypass, like the VS, you bypass everything for a Death Prophet #1.
Yeah, you can get a good trade anyway. This gives, in a way, it's hard to say it gives less information because DP is a very, like...
She's mid.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, it's also what it says about the game. Let's say Enchantress and Prophet, for example, are both in the pool. You know you get an offlaner from those two, and they both have synergy with DP. So then you can, instead of picking one of them first, you can keep your options open and get the one that's best against the two picks that Liquid gets right now, and wait for your opening in the draft. In case Liquid take both Prophet and Enchantress, they're very much locked in place as well with what they're doing. Like, that's a lot of information for you, and then your second pick in this first phase can look toward being something that counters those two out, which are very, early game-centric heroes. So I really like, again, very healthy, and you can see Team Liquid. This is not what they were expecting.
No, I don't think anyone would ever expect this. So Kuro, he's just going to go with like the Enchantress and the Beastmaster. So they get to rack up their auras. There's good control. There's good lane presence from Team Liquid, and like that's kind of what we expect from them. But now we see if VP, like, okay, so you pick up the Death Prophet. You could end up just having a very similar to a draft before, like.
Oh, if they want to do what like they did in first game, they could pick Chen. I just don't think it's that good here. I think Prophet is a better choice.
Having Chen versus Enchantress as well is always a little bit
exactly.
Messy.
That's what makes it a little bit tricky for them. They can still do it though. Like, I won't rule out the possibility, but as far as game plan goes, I think Prophet seems like a very solid pickup. Alternatively, they get neither and they just pick a support like Witch Doctor or Oracle, which is incredible synergy with Death Prophet actually. The logic here, of course, is Death Prophet deals a lot of damage as long as she doesn't die, and Death Prophet's Exorcism, when the heal comes back, the heal you get from Spirit Siphon in particular is obviously incredible. Like, it already heals a lot, but it heals twice during False Promise. It's one of the cores that doesn't care about being disarmed by Fate's Edict, because all of your damage, or like 95%, comes from your ultimate and your Crypt Swarm anyway. So all of that magic damage that you block with Fate's Edict, it's super good with this hero. Most other cores that you False Promise is like, should I Fate's Edict them? I mean, sure, they don't take magic damage, but they can't hit, so it's like, if you're playing with a cut, what do you want to do?
It's also just crazy, the fact that, like this is standard for a month ago. Maybe not with a Death Prophet, but having the combination later in the draft, like a month ago, makes a lot more sense. And I almost feel like watching these two teams play, like they've basically just flipped off every other team at this event and said, we're going to do things our way, our style, and you get used to it. And VP, like you make it, his name kept coming up every time those mumblings happened.
Yeah. And that's interesting, because Liquid specifically chose Radiant. For this game. They could have taken Dire if they wanted to, but this is probably not what they were expecting. Touched upon it already. What makes Purifying Flames gets leveled up. If you have fast level 3 while Ench level 2, Oracle can like take 3/4 of her health with those spells alone by casting 2 Purifying and 1 Fortune's End. And it's difficult to play against. So the fact that Liquid goes for Ursa, it plays to their strengths. Matomaman is a great Ursa.
Just throw him in, then just ball in, so you can just close that distance. Well. Like, CM's one of the as well as Enchantress creeps, so you can stop Beastmaster from having an easy presence on that top lane, and then her freezing field, Ursa was going to have a very difficult time running around in the middle of these fights. Same with the Enchantress, even Tusker. Like, and they don't have any kind of nice, easy range stunts against either the Crystal Maiden. If you use it on the Crystal Maiden, what are you going to use to control up everyone else? And then you've still got Oracle.
Low mana cost, and with the Crystal Maiden Arcane Aura, you could just keep it you can keep it going. But with the CM, it's not going to become a problem very often. Edict is really, really good. You can break it with Enrage, but it's like the interaction between those two heroes is interesting.
The thing I was also thinking about is Team Liquid's laning phase. The big problem we saw with the Crystal Maidens previously in the tournament, the fact that they just could not farm up inside their own jungle.
Yeah.
They couldn't power level, because normally with the Crystal Maiden, you can grab like 2 or 3 clarities, you go inside your jungle, and like you come, and she's just like, okay, at that point, you don't really matter what else you get, because you'll have your Tranquil Boost after you farm that point, and Crystal Maiden can just sacrifice herself completely after that. But in the games we had where they got shredded, especially the Fluff and Stuff game, he got no freedom inside of his own jungle. And that's why I want to see exactly the positioning of the Enchantress in this game and the rotations of the Tusker. And you actually pick up another melee hero.
Sven's good. Ursa is a little bit tricky to deal with though, and so is he for a hero like Gyro.
Is there someone else that you can kite with? Like maybe, like, well, you wouldn't push the Death Prophet to the safe lane.
I still think Sven is pretty. You know, the problem is there's a couple of other issues for Sven than just the Ursa. There's also the Beastmaster Roar. The boars are annoying. Sigil is annoying. Great synergy with Vacuum. And some of the problems that he could have can be helped by Oracle. So they don't necessarily have to promise the Death Prophet every fight. I mean, if Sven is taking the flak, then he can.
Well, they're fine
get
with
some
that.
help too.
They're fine with both Sven and Ursa. Like you may just get controlled. But yeah, let's get into it. So the game will begin, and Rob, we'll need a switch for a moment as we need to let's just hope a simple discussion.
Left of the tier 1 tower, and they've placed the one overlooking the top Radiant lane atop the cliff on the right side of the tier 1 there. That's pretty much everything that's happened. Liquid have placed the Roshan ward atop the cliff above Rosh, and we are preparing for the rune fight. Liquid currently posing 4.
It's good for him at least. Now, the upside is if Enchantress just want to grab a creep from this top lane, she can do so. Their aggressive ward in the bottom lane is able to watch this dual off lane. So they actually put both Lil as well as Phobos on this off lane.
Yeah, this is
Poor Jirax. He only managed to grab one of them.
This is actually a pretty against Ursa for that lane. Or you can, of course, just go for the 102, the standard build-up. And then they're going to get a lot this way, because Liquid, they know that this Enchantress will be roaming around, and in the bottom lane, it's very difficult for Enchantress to actually gank that lane. They've got
mid.
Surge, and
Enchantress is coming for the mid. Fada, he's actually going to doppelganger himself forward, but then Lil rotates over instantly.
I don't even think he needed to, actually.
He kind of, it's this safety first, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, just make sure the Death Prophet is safe. You knew the Enchantress would have some level of rotation, but 2.5. Yeah, the Oracle is a little under level, but that's because he was kind of sacrificing himself more so Phobos can succeed. I'm going to babysit the rune.
To check that rune, it's not going to happen. And he's actually going to get sharded off here by Jerax, but there is a path around.
Is it? Yeah, he's just
going to punch a little bit here. Great fist fight between the two.
Top lane, mind control. Easy TP. The Beastmaster, yeah, she found 3 levels off this offlane. That's not too bad for him. Obviously, Phobos is getting something similar, but...
Fatsa's still doing a lot better mid now. He's got a lot of CS. He's 12 against the 9 of the DP. And, of course, their safe lane Ursa is just flat-out free farming right now. I don't think he's missed a CS yet on Matumba. Sitting on 17, and there's 3 creeps remaining in this wave.
FNG's being the defensive support in the mid now. Kuro's going to slip in behind the tower. Sentry Ward's down from FNG. Obviously, he doesn't see him perfectly, and he doesn't ping it, so he's not certain. But they know something.
Yeah, Kuro wanted that to happen. He realized that creep was expiring, so he's like trying to just the small things, just trying to waste some mana, get an FNG's head a little bit, waste his time.
He's got a Hadouken creep now, but now FNG. Okay, FNG actually commits the Observer Ward. Frostbite is on 1. Kuro obviously doesn't have enchant, so we can't slow down the Crystal Maiden, and this Centaur will survive the Frostbite. Level 1 damage is not enough to kill off one of these Centaurs. That's why FNG's like, oh, he actually stopped to attack.
But I am not sure how well this bodes for Liquid overall. If this Enchantress does not find kills and just farms, It's not the easiest of Enchantress games. It's also not the worst, but we talked about how Oracle can kill it fairly easily. I think Death Prophet is also one of the heroes that can deal pretty significant damage to that Enchantress, unless you have a very high level of heal, because obviously the ultimate doesn't care about the untouchable. But
this rune of FNG helped to set up for this one with the Crypt Swarm, as well as a little bit of extra attack. The Frostbite's still on cooldown. Fada just has enough bottle charges to survive. Could actually set that one up perfectly. He realized FNG was coming in. He started the Soul Siphon to get some kind of attack out from Fada. He ended up just retreating and then attacked in again. And that's when they could try and capitalize, bringing him very close to death. They're still just poking and prodding.
Yeah,
very
Francis
difficult
actually
lane to kill anyway.
But it's still, even after that, he's still not in the strongest position in this lane right now.
Is this that time again when we look for the 6-minute rune for Fada? Like if he's able to stay in the lane, he gets a 6-minute rune?
Yeah, it's, you know, he's going to bottle up now and then he's going to have like 600 health and 300 mana, so it's going to be like 3/4. But G still has plenty of damage, not in the whole game.
Yeah, yeah.
This
this isn't the breathe fire kind of moment where Fada drops down low.
Just put as much pressure on the lane as possible.
But that was the same thing for the Death
304 build
Prophets.
or 403. I think 403 might actually be better here. Just pressure the lane constantly and just harass Fada out.
Oh, he leveled up Exorcism.
Alright.
Just to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Or disagree with you.
I'll level Exorcism now. It's
Yeah, that's the attempt, but it's not going to happen. God waits for it nicely and gets the Crypt Swarm kill off. So Kuro's army disappears, he feeds away First Blood. And that's a nice little thing for God to have. He instantly goes into the Siphon, wants to force Fada away. It's also kind of funny, like you could get rid of a lot of things with Doppelganger, but you cannot get rid of the Spirit Siphon. If he smoked in, I missed his entrance. But Tuskar's Sigil's going to try and help him out. Now FNG's moving over. FNG, the Frostbite. Now Matubman just breaks free with Enrage, but this will stop the Roshan from happening. Phobos is already moving down, so is Lil. And can he actually get a Fortune's End? He's getting near Jirax, but they don't keep the vision up. So now, maybe this is also another reason why they were thinking about Exorcism. Can VP actually take Roshan? Yeah, Silent got his Warcry off first, though, but he's just getting slowed down. And, well, he can't do enough damage. Just 1 second until the Storm Bolt, and 1 second is too long for him to buy a little bit more space. And there was no TP support from any of the VP supports. In fact, Lillard already had his was on cooldown. Only one that could have saved his teammate.
Keep tabs on Ursa, because that's obviously the only way Liquid even come close to killing that Roche, is by utilizing Ursa. And it's the same for VP. They need Exorcism, they probably need Sven there too, so it's a little more telegraphed if they go for it, because they need to bring 2 heroes. But they're definitely able to do it. And the way Liquid...
Shards? I don't think this... Well, Matubman, he wants to go for the fight. Lil, he's still got a little bit more flames, and, well, there you go. Just gets popped. Phobos surging himself forward. It's a level 2 surge, and, well, there's no Iron Shell on him at the moment. Now there is. Matubman diving into the tree line. The Sigil's down as well. Surge is back off cooldown again, so he has to run out here. Matubman with the lance. Yep. There's the kill. So Fada's able to get revenge. Meanwhile, up on top lane, they start with a Nova, slowing down Mind Control. Gold with the rotation, but that Spirit Siphon just ripping through the Beastmaster. The last attack coming in from the Sven, so he can find the kill. He actually did it with a cleave from the Creep Wave to find that one.
And Exorcism is ready. This is probably a tower. I don't see Liquid having a chance of defending this. So what I was going to get at when it comes to the Roshan is that Liquid, their lineup wants to try and sneak it. They want to bring in Ursa and get it, whereas Virtus Pro can actually 5-man the Roche and force Liquid. It's actually really weak. They're so single target oriented. They have Enchantress strictly single target, Peel, and Ursa is single target too. So
and you're doing single target up against an Oracle.
Yeah. Exactly. So the false promise is going to be huge, and if it comes to fight the Roche Pit, they better kill someone off real quick, or they're just going to die to the cleave and the Death Prophet damage together with the Darkseer.
It's going to be difficult once VP start getting items which allow them to save their own teammates. You're getting a Yule Scepter coming up from the Death Prophet, and that's already going to screw around. He just Mask of Madness, runs himself out. The shards from Jirax don't get the block.
They were not good.
We're also going to lose out in the ball here, so no easy way just to check out top. In fact, it's had a banisher.
That is so annoying for Ursa. That's like...
It's death.
That's the worst. It's a 3-second cooldown purge. How do you play against that with a hero that has to stay on target?
I like to how that's the one creep that Silent took. It can do the stacking.
Purge was good, right? Back in... with the old creeps. It was already good.
Yep.
Then Helm of the Dominator gave 1400 health to any creep. So this creep got like 4 times its health when you dominate it. And in addition to that, I think the Purge ability even got buffed, so it had lower cooldown and longer duration. So it's like been buffed so hard that creep now is just ultra legit.
God. This trade between Fighter and God is Team 1 charges up his sleeve, plus a full bottle. And a haste rune in that bottle. But by him just being slightly aggressive then, it basically means that God's be able to zone PL out. In fact, like, Fighter's gone jungle. He's just gone bush. And Matubman, this Mask of Madness pickup, it's at least let him move freely across the map a little bit faster, but he's fallen behind in farm. The top 2 networks right now belong to Virtus Pro. It's the Zven as well as the Death Prophet. And they have even taken Roshan. This Purge creep stands guard. Silent. Can he stack it as well? Doesn't really matter. He's still going to take the full stack, and Team Liquid doesn't look like they can punish. Because what are they going to do? Walk into like a 4-level Crypt Swarm? They lose that creep wave instantly. The Darkseer is pressuring too heavily on the bottom lane. Like, Jirex is currently on the run from 2 Iron Shells. Like, they can punish top lane because no one's there from VP. But VP, like, they need a stun. They need something. FNG, oh, he got the Frostbite. They surged him and he just got the Frostbite to kill off Jirex. Damage in the mid too. Okay, maybe this isn't as worth it as I thought it was going to be. You got 100 CS, 12 minutes in onto Silent. That's terrific.
Oh, Oracle cancelled his TP. He almost completed it. I think that might have just been a misclick. But
Maybe.
they're not losing the tower. I still want to say though, yeah, Liquid take the top tier 1, but this game, in my opinion, is looking very, very good for Virtus Pro right now. We talked about the team fight in the mid game and what they can do with it.
But they keep going. Like, it's like VP are giving Liquid free stuff. Like, they're attacking
they
into
shouldn't be giving them the top tier 2 though.
Well, they've got it. There's no fortification, so the Beastmasters, they see FNG, who also just burned his TP. He just started his TP scroll. The Necro books are up, and Lil's having a bit of trouble. He has to false promise himself. Silent's busy with a creep wave, but Matubman's moving over. Mask of Madness hasn't been triggered just yet. An Oracle, well, he's going to pop. Matubman, now he can go to work, chasing up after Silent. And, well, this Ven turns, does as much damage as he possibly can. It's almost even.
Very good trade there. And what I liked about Liquid's play here was how much they forced VP to move around the map. They forced rotation to mid, then they forced rotation to top, and obviously the TP's on cooldown. They can't get there fast enough. They force a fight, and that was just on marginals there. If Silent does die early in that fight, I think it's totally worth it for Team Liquid. But ends up being Ursa. Outplayed.
Outplayed, outdamaged, out. So these things are here. Like, he didn't actually have to go for the Arcane boost because FNG is giving him the 3 points up in the aura. But FNG, this Crystal Maiden, like, she's died 2 times, but that's like half of the kills, almost half of the kills of Team Liquid. Like, you're very okay with that if you're Virtus Pro. And Oracle's getting more and more. Like, he's getting close to completing up his urn. He still doesn't have to consume this Fairy Fire either. So the Oracle's
Have false promise on yourself. Everything like that matters. But yeah, Liquid have got to find something. I think they need to try to get some picks now with their lineup. If they just play farm and cruise toward a mid game, I just don't really see them winning this dire advantage. They're gonna get Roshania. Yeah.
okay. TP's defense is coming in from Fada, not allowing God to force his lane out. But Silent got himself a new creep. He actually took a wild wing of his own. But this is a wraparound from Team Liquid, and FNG is going to walk straight into it. So the Crystal Maiden died. Bunch of Necro books right behind him. Maybe Lil wasn't really happy with doing that, but now the Warcry. Lil, he's going to keep himself alive. Fortune's End plus the heal and Fada losing too much life. The Exorcism is off too, and what a back wall. They're going to catch out Team Liquid. The snowball protection is there, but it won't protect for long enough. Silent gets the double kill. Lil actually survives through this entire thing, and God keeps the chase going. He doesn't actually even have time to go for the doppelganger away. And with the end of the exercise,
you get to cast some more spells. He just holds, he pulls back. He's like, assesses the situation. If I false promise myself, the enemy team has a chance of targeting other heroes and shutting them down. So he false promises the Death Prophet and just keeps him completely safe and lets him just run them down. And
I really feel like this Ursa pickup, yeah, it could have been amazing, but you pick it into a whole bunch of heroes that can kite you, and you haven't claimed the Roshan. Like, this is, like, for me, like, Ursa still is not doing one of his big primary things that makes Ursa Ursa.
It's just difficult to access it for them right now.
Yeah. As just shy of 1,500 gold. Like, if he waits and gets a Blink Dagger, just so VP ensure the team fight superiority. God, this Helm of the Dominator. Like, the creeps just keep coming in and seeing everything. Matumba, he's doing this.
There's no Oracle ults. They just want to. They're gonna EXO this right now. I think.
Like, and where's your?
It's just the more I look at this draft from Liquid, the more all-in it feels. Like, they have to get something done in the early game with their two supports, the Enchantress and Tusk, but Tusk has been almost a non-factor this game. Kuro put a bit of pressure mid, but couldn't really do much, and ultimately he has to just, focus on farming, because if he keeps making ganks that aren't successful, then he just wastes his time.
Yep.
And it's a little bit reminiscent for me of the drafts I criticized from Archon yesterday when they played up against, I think it was LGD, where they picked like this lineup around Enchantress that was really good early game, but it was so focused on the early game that everything just really is like flexible. You can play mid game, you can play early game, you can go for objectives, Roshan, all of that stuff. And then they just took it in one direction. It was all about the early game, and it just hasn't really delivered that much. And they did it against a DP Oracle opener, which is like notorious for how good it is in the early part of the game.
Yep.
So
they knew what they were getting into.
Rough.
VP, they take the double damage rune, as this Mud Golem tried to actually deny it. But the rest of VP as he'll snowball forward, but the Stormbolt will connect. And, well, stun-wise, they don't actually have anything left for him, but more than enough damage to find the kill. So, Jirax doesn't burn the TP scroll. But this is now 13-6. VP, they're rapidly approaching a 10,000 advantage on gold, but they're already over it for experience. Against either Complexity or Evil Geniuses, which I believe is shortly going to a third game.
I just realized how fat God is, and he's still not the richest in his team. Like, he is so rich right now.
Octarine and Yulstep 21 minutes in.
He got it like minute 19 or 20, right? Or did he just pick it up? Maybe 20.
He only just got it. He only just got it.
It's still ridiculous how rich they are, and they know. They know what position they're in. Liquid can't fight them. I think they're just gonna lose this Rax at like no cost.
Yeah, they're accepting it. Like, they're taking the tier 1 tower on bottom. They know that VP can't go any further because the tier 2 towers are up in mid as well as bot lane. So I'm gonna say it's just gonna be your top Rax, but they go for the best trade-off they can get from this.
Yeah, they got 2 towers bottom, which I guess is something.
They may even.
But it doesn't compare.
They can't go for mid. Like, VP's already back. But you just gave them so much money as well. Like, is that an assault cure? So it's Silence Hyperstone and it's an Ether Lens for Lil. But they gotta have more money than that. Like, what are we sitting on for current?
I think Force Staff is really good this game.
Force Staff be good? Really good against Ursa?
Good against Roar. Yeah, there we go. It's good against Roar, good against Ursa. I think FNG was just looking at the options and thinking, what's my best pickup? And this game is looking so good for VP that any sort of utility item for the team would be great.
Oh, this could be big.
Could have even gone for
God. He's still got Yule Scepter, but then, well, there goes your Aegis Immortal. God, still no Yule Scepter. Phobos, oh! He backs 2 up on the hill. God still got that Siphon going. Jirax and Matama, they want to get back out, but they're going to snowball back down again with the Roar flying in at the end. They kill off the Death Prophet. They're going to claim Phobos' life as well. So the clip is on Matumberman, and that's what really made this play work. First cancelling off the Haste Rune, and then they take 3 quick
advantage there. They had the Aegis, they had the Rex advantage. They have no buybacks on these 3 heroes in Liquid. I think they're going to just press as much as they can here. They might be able to get the tier 3 tower at the very least.
They just lost the Necro units though. Like, their pushing power is kind of like dwindled away. Yeah. But they've still managed to take all outer towers up against VP when VP had a 10-12k advantage.
Yeah, that was still ugly, and they're not going to let that happen again, I think. But good, paying a lot there.
VP's coming down, smoked up. Have to wait a long time for Roshan. They just keep pinging mind control. They're not holding back on that. Silent pushes in the mid lane, but the other 4 are looking for a kill. They need to create some space. And Team Liquid, they have their Observer. He tried to break free with the Enrage. The Spirit Siphon's on the way, but Phase Edict locks him in position. The vac back, Matumba can't survive.
No buyback either. He bought his Ogre Club.
Silence can't take VP just having to expend Exorcism. So God doesn't damage the tier 3 tower, but VP are looking at a win scenario. A tier 3 tower for a mid-ranks, hell yes, you take that. But 17 seconds left on the clock. This is taking VP way too long. Now they finally get through the tier 3 tower. Mind control, FNG, he's going to go for the solo. He actually claims the kill. So there's no way to bring the Beastmaster back. No buyback on him, but now 3 seconds till Ursa. They've only taken range racks. VP need to get the hell out of here. But Kuro Boss will try and surge away, but there's not enough regeneration. So Phobos is a guaranteed kill here. He'll trigger out. They actually pick up Lil as well. And Team Liquid, this may be the only thing they can do. Just make a beeline for, the only... such a huge thing for Liquid because they're not battling up against, like, super creeps. Or, I should say, mega creeps. No, actually, no. These ones are supers. They're not megas.
Pushing out bottom is also going to give them a chance at Roche. I think that's... If they want to have a shot at Roche, they have to push out the lanes. Their chance at just sneaking it now are, like... It's almost zero. There's 2 wards inside the... It looks like they're doing. A little bit unfortunate with the respawn timer, I guess. It's quite a bit over average, but...
They don't really have to care too much, though, because they can just keep controlling the lanes until he's up. Like, just dominate a creep, keep your eyes peeled there. FNG currently is that creep. The ward inside the... Okay, it's not going to be scot-free. G-Rex gets caught out this time around. Spirit siphoned up and brought down.
And I think the reason they rushed that buyback is that, first of all, they know they're going to win the fight if it breaks out, but secondly, they want to push the lanes out and they want to get ready to control Roche. There are 2 options now. Either they just run down middle and fight this anyway, and they know they can't get megaed. It's the right call, actually. This Melirex is just done.
They try to creep skip it with the Necro units and throttle the lane back,
Let's see.
but it didn't do enough.
No TP on Sven, no TP on Darkseid for 20.
That's why.
The others
Oh,
already...
Matumba! The Spirit Siphon's coming out from God, but Matumba's already got 6, 7, 8, and boom! Stacks. The Death Prophet does have but the bottom lane's pushing in quite nicely. That was the momentum granted by the PL. So VP are pretty split across their base right now, with the Death Prophet on the sidelines.
There's a couple of sloppy deaths here that I think VP are doing a little bit of fan service here, keeping it a little more exciting. G has died twice that I think he probably could have avoided. That death top here is like...
And they're going to do it, but by the time they reach Roshan, like, Matumba's going to have that Aegis the Immortal.
I'm wondering what Matumba's going to get, if it's BKB or Ags. It's got to be Ags. No? BKB? Actually, there's still stuff that pierces it. He can still get... Well, yeah, he needs it against the disarm, I guess, but even with the Ags, he can still get disarmed after casting Enrage. So... Yeah.
On the bright side, he can't have someone like a Crystal Maiden just control him solo as well.
Yeah, and you know, the Axe on Ursa is really in fashion right now after you get this build. This is like CTY's build, but usually CTY would go for the Axe over... But in this game, it is a better choice, just hands down. Because there are so many abilities that have so short cooldowns that a low cooldown on Rage is not enough to deal with it.
Team Liquid are going to be so happy with their ward positioning. Like, they're seeing exactly where VP is moving. This ward's about to time out. In fact, it times out just as I look at it now. So they've lost their aggressive ward positioning. But at least they've been able to make, like, better decisions. Like, that's probably another big thing to take from this. Like, you have to understand that this is a big game of trades right now for Team Liquid. They know they've... Through small little decisions, they're getting the better trades off. Experience and gold actually looks a lot closer just because of that. It could have swung a lot further back. VP's primary advantage is the fact they've just got 2 lanes of racks down. I say just.
And something to keep in mind is that we've been talking a lot about the Death Prophet and the Ursa, but Fata is starting to go places with this PL now. He has Diffusal Manta and another 1500. Sure, Sven is a good counter pick, but you can still play around it, and you can at least target the others. And it's a here. VP not to make dumb mistakes anymore. They take the tier 2 tower for free here. Question is if they want to try to push high ground into the Aegis. They really want to end the game. You know, you're very excited in this moment. You can secure yourself the winner bracket. It's a huge deal. Just try to finish the game. But risk-reward ratio should always...
Team Liquid, now they just have to buy back heavily. The snowball forward from G-Rex, trying to control up on top of Silent. The Warcry still in cooldown for now. FNG TP out will be successful. Right underneath them as Lil, the 4-star didn't get him up the hill. He'll go down before that TP will complete. So the bottom Rex remains intact, but the amount of buybacks, you just expected a buyback on both a PL and an Enchantress. That's very costly, but you keep yourself in the game. Lives extra that Team Liquid got after that fight.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, they hold, but going into the next fight, they're gonna have... It's gonna be so much more stacked against them. That was a good fight from VP and a very good response. Next time they can make like 1 or 2 mistakes and probably still just win the game. So I'm imagining we'll see VP just go bottom and push high ground now, honestly. Take advantage of the buybacks being on cooldown. They could also try to wait for Roshan, but the timing window is really narrow. The buybacks are down instead of securing an Aegis. Because Sven doesn't really have a slot for it. Or at least he doesn't really want to use any slots anymore because he's like maxed.
He doesn't need it
And
anyway
DP
because
is
he
not
just
very
buys a Satanic.
good
He's
Aegis carrier
basically
right
got an Aegis anyway, or we can say cheese.
Yeah. What did he send out here?
BTs actually. He just bought BTs.
Yep.
So maybe that's the plan then. Like leave Silent up on the top lane. He just keeps the lane pressured in. So Liquid's deep push isn't going to be anywhere near as effective, and then he just joins the rest of VP.
Yeah, and the risk if they take a bad fight, they know that okay, if we take a bad fight, we're probably still ahead. They have a pretty good read on the gold right now, I think, on what the status is in the game. So if they take a bad fight, as long as the waves are pushed, Liquid won't be able to get anything meaningful from it.
Yeah. You buy back and BT into the fight. And in fact, here comes the BT already. Team Liquid, they're not going to wait. They 5-man smoke, they move around behind, they use the Hawk for vision, and they see Phobos, but he blinks away. He broke the smoke, and instantly VP, they reposition themselves for this fight. God gets initiated on, and he's instantly saved. The vac wall, mind control on top of him, getting perfectly caught out by that one. The Exorcism will do its work. FNG's ulti, well, he tried. Chased down by Silent. This really is the game. Kuro is the last sole survivor. Buybacks really, they won't save them. And there it is. Virtus Pro will take the series against Team Liquid 2-1. After what seemed a very shaky game 1 from Virtus Pro. We wondered if they'd have the confidence, but you said coming into game 3, Sind, VP, after their performance in game 2, it feels like they've finally clicked.
Yeah, I think the game 1 draft was maybe a little bit of an... Game 2, like you said, looked shaky. I think that was the game Liquid needed to win. I feel like this game they have a worse draft, honestly. In game 2, they were definitely in fighting shape and they were looking good. And then a couple of mistakes here and there, and Liquid just fell behind very quickly, and VP just didn't look back in that one either. So
it's like Liquid wanted to march to the beat of their own drum, but they didn't really understand like what VP were bringing to the table. Like you said it halfway through the game. Like you drafted what they did against a Death Prophet Oracle,
right?
He was alone, then the Darkseer came to help him.
Yeah, and so there's like 2 heroes against 4, and if that's your best hope,
yeah,
you know, that's not really.
So Team Liquid, they're going to be facing the dreaded potentially 4th position game in the lower match, the losers match. The winners match, VP, will get to go up there up against either EG or Complexity. Of course, all these games will be happening on the primary stream, so go to DOTA Major over on twitch.tv or wherever you're currently watching, and you'll be able to find all